You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. More international students across Wisconsin have had their visas revoked. Earlier this week, we reported that the federal government canceled the visas of 13 students and alumni on employment visas. That was just at UW-Madison. Now, the UW system confirms to me they know of at least 14 more students whose visas have been revoked. Those international students are all over the system. That brings the total to at least 27 students and alumni in Wisconsin who lost their visas. According to the New York Times, it's now happened to about 300 students across the nation. Until now, if a visa was canceled, that only meant people couldn't leave the U.S. and regain entry. They would have to apply for a new visa. They were usually allowed to keep their status as a legal resident, according to the Associated Press. But the outlet reports some students are also losing their status as legal residents. When that happens, they could risk being arrested by ICE if they do not leave immediately. Another organization is feeling the impact of federal cuts, this time Public Health Madison-Dane County. The health department had won a $1.8 million federal grant to carry out immunization programs. The health department had won a $1.8 million federal grant to carry out immunization programs. That funding was set to begin March 24th and would end on June 30th. But just 2 days in, they were notified that the money was canceled. PHMDC says they had to terminate 3 staff members about 60 days earlier than planned. They had to nix contracts and other resources, too. It's National Public Health Week, and staff from PHMDC say, quote, amid these devastating cuts, it's hard to feel like celebrating. And in western Wisconsin, a mental health facility had to delay its opening because of the federal cuts. Tellurian Behavioral Health was set to open Jackson House in La Crosse in the next few weeks. It would add 8 beds for people in mental health crisis, giving them an alternative to hospitals and jails. But according to an executive at Tellurian, cuts from the Trump administration mean they will not be opening May 1st as planned. He said he's heartbroken that people won't have this option. Meanwhile, Dane County has some new vending machines, but you won't find snacks in them. Instead, the goal is to prevent overdoses. The health department calls them harm reduction vending machines. Inside, they have the life-saving overdose-reversing drug naloxone and other safety supplies like fentanyl testing strips, even menstrual kits. Data shows people who died from overdoses had visited the emergency room sometime in the year leading up to their deaths, so they picked these locations very carefully. The 2 vending machines are outside UW Hospital and SSM St. Mary's Hospital. Doctors and advocates say they can save lives. And this afternoon and evening, you'll hear sirens. It's time for the statewide tornado drill. This is your chance to think about how you would respond, because planning that out beforehand can be life-saving in an emergency. Meteorologist Brittany Merlot explains what you should do.
Sirens will sound at 1:45 and 6:45. And this is when you should pretend it's real. Practice your plan and take shelter. Go to the lowest level, most interior room, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Avoid windows and look for things that you can cover yourself with, like pillows or couch cushions. The main threat is debris. And it's a good time to pack an emergency backpack as well. Fill it with a pair of shoes, water, change of clothes, meds, and more. And let me tell you, muscle memory is best when a natural disaster occurs. Practice the plan so it sticks.
Again, that's 1:45 this afternoon and 6:45 tonight. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. This is 92.7 WMDX News.
The Brewers crushed the Rockies. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewer Bats were hot last night in Denver. They beat the Rockies 17-2. At age 21, Jackson Chourio has become the youngest player in baseball history to have 12 RBI in just 3 games, surpassing Hall of Famers like Mickey Mantle, Al Kaline, and the Braves' Eddie Matthews. Now, Chourio struck out 5 times on opening day in New York against the Yankees. Pat Murphy.
It was a tough day to see that day, and that's a really good pitcher. I woke him up pretty good, and he had a good spring training, and that woke him up pretty good. He's been pretty good since then.
Basketball tonight in Milwaukee, the Bucks and the Pelicans. And the Packers tailgate tour continues. Last night in Madison, today in La Crosse and Onalaska. This is the 17th and final year for Packers president Mark Murphy.
No, it's a little nostalgic, but yeah, I've enjoyed them all. It's something that's really, it's a great tradition, and I know it'll continue. And I know not only the current players, but the alumni really enjoy coming back and being a part of it.
That's Mark Murphy with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. If you're heading to the theater this weekend, there are 4 films opening that are all reviewing quite well. The Amateur is a much-publicized action thriller starring Rami Malek as a CIA analyst whose wife is killed, motivating him to become more than just an analyst. The film is currently rating in the mid-60s on Rotten Tomatoes. Drop is being called a Hitchcockian-style thriller about a widowed mother who goes on a date during which her phone is inundated with threatening messages. The film is currently polling a 90+% on Rotten Tomatoes. Also opening this weekend is Warfare, a war drama written and directed by Iraq War veteran Ray Mendoza. The film is currently in the low 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. The King of Kings is an animated family drama that tells the story of Jesus and brings some heavy hitters to the voiceover roles, including Kenneth Branagh, Uma Thurman, Mark Hamill, and Pierce Brosnan. It's drawing a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to the movies. Kieran Culkin is an Oscar winner thanks to Jesse Eisenberg's A Real Pain. According to actor-comedian Eric Andre, Culkin was not Jesse Eisenberg's first choice for the role. Andre was. Andre says Eisenberg called him and offered him the role. According to Deadline, Andre passed because he thought the script was depressing. Does Andre think he blew it in passing on the role? Yeah. He calls it the biggest mistake of his career. The season 3 finale of White Lotus brought lots of drama, but now there's drama off screen as well between writer, director, and show creator Mike White and composer Cristobal Tapio de Veer. In a recent appearance on the Howard Stern show, White says de Veer did not respect him. He told Stern that quitting when the composer did and bad-mouthing White and the show 3 days before the finale was a move. White did admit that de Veer is incredibly talented, but did not like taking notes, especially after the composer's season 2 music went viral and won de Veer an Emmy. Oh man, those creative types. The latest installment in the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise will hit theaters this coming summer. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt will headline the cast, but there is uncertainty as to whether or not Brandy Norwood will return. Norwood played Love Hewitt's best friend Carla Wilson in 1998's I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which was the second installment of the franchise. Director Jennifer Caton Robinson hinted that Norwood might be making an appearance, but that people will just have to go see the film, which opens July 18th. The production of Dune 3 has some A-list talent lined up. Variety reports that director Denis Villeneuve is eyeing Robert Pattinson to join the cast. Pattinson would join an all-star cast including Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem, Rebecca Ferguson, and Josh Brolin. Dune Messiah is scheduled to start shooting in summer of 2026.
It is going to be mostly cloudy today with a few showers or sprinkles at times. Our high in the upper 40s. Tonight, we're going to drop down to around 30. Tomorrow, partly cloudy in the mid-50s. And then we're going to warm it up by Saturday, partly cloudy with a high in the low to mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 35.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.